Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode. In today's episode, we are going to be talking about what it's actually like to live in a truck camper, the nitty-gritty of living in a truck camper. We're going to be talking about how long does my propane last, where do I do laundry, where do I get Wi-Fi, how long do my hot showers last, all of that. Guys, look, just 1 second. Look at this. How cute are those? Oh my goodness, they were running away. That's awesome. So today we're going to be talking about the non-glamorous side of living in an RV. Kind of the annoyances, the hassles, the inconveniences of living in a truck camper or living the RV lifestyle. Of course, I can only speak for me. I'm a single guy. I live in a 2017 Arctic Fox 990. And so let's start off by first talking about the chores that I have to do about every 2 weeks. So the first question that I get asked all the time is, where do I do my laundry? Well, I do my laundry in a laundromat. Now, this RV does not have a washer or a dryer, nor would I really want one, because that just adds to the gray water. So I do my laundry at a laundromat, which is right behind me. Laundromats are about 25 minutes to wash and 40 minutes to dry. $7 to wash, which it went up, it used to be $6, but $7 to wash, and I spend about $2.50 to $3 to dry. So $10 every 2 weeks to do my laundry. The second is propane. I use propane quite a bit, especially in the winter time when I turn my furnace on. That's when my propane goes down substantially. I have two 30-pound propane tanks. In the winter time, I can go through those in about a week or two. In the summertime, I use less propane, and so I'm more filling up my propane every month or so. Costco. Costco is the greatest place to get propane. And there's a lineup to get propane, like just those things that you take for granted in your house. You know, I have to work a little bit harder to keep my RV livable. One bottle right now at Costco is going for about $15 a bottle. So to fill up two 30-pound propane tanks is about $30 for me. Give you an example, if I were to do that at a gas station, if I were to fill up one propane bottle at a gas station, it would be anywhere from $30 to $50 for one propane tank. So you're literally saving half, or sometimes more than half the cost by filling up at Costco. There's 5 things that use my propane. My fridge is always turned on propane. My cooking stove is propane. My generator runs off propane. My furnace runs off propane, and I heat my water up for my showers and for my sink to wash dishes. I heat that up with propane. So 5 uses of propane in this RV. Number 3, holding tanks. I have to dump my holding tanks. Just an FYI. Oh. This is another part of my life right now. I'm at a dump station, and I'm dumping my holding tanks, going into there, and I'm also filling up with fresh water. So this dump station is $7. They're anywhere from $5 to $7. Sometimes you can find free ones. It just really depends where you are. What I've learned is RV parks usually have dump stations, gas stations usually have dump stations, and RV dealerships usually have dump stations. Oh, and the most important question, I dump my tanks probably every 2 weeks depending on use. And number 4, cleaning my RV. Because it's a small space, you really have to keep on top of it or the clutter will start to add up, and just with a few things unorganized, this RV looks very messy. Now, for a lot of people, living in a small space can be somewhat of an inconvenience and somewhat annoying. With a small space comes great responsibility. For me, it's actually not that big of a deal, but I know for a lot of people who are used to big spaces, moving into an RV is a little bit of a hassle, a little bit inconvenient, and you can kind of feel claustrophobic. I have tons of room as a single guy in this RV. It's big enough for what I need it for. If you're curious about storage, I do have 2 videos about storage, and I'll link them in the description below. But for me, the inconvenience comes with moisture buildup. And so moisture buildup happens when I'm cooking, when I'm breathing in my RV, when I'm showering, moisture buildup. And so the way that I deal with that is I have a dehumidifier. This is a Noma 35-pint dehumidifier, which I got at Canadian Tire. And I make sure when I'm cooking, when I'm showering, and when I'm sleeping, a vent is open, and sometimes the vent is turned on, especially when I'm showering and cooking, to get that moisture up and out of my RV. Now, one thing that I did have to get used to is showering, because I have 56 gallons of fresh water, and I have a 6-gallon water heater. And so I can't take the longest showers because my hot water runs out. And I timed it this morning. My hot water ran out in 6 minutes and 11 seconds. So I have 6 minutes and 11 seconds of hot water. Usually I don't use that much time. Usually I'm in and out within a couple of minutes. But just for those wondering, 6 minutes and 11 seconds you have for a hot shower. Now you may be wondering, how comfortable is it in your shower? It is actually very comfortable. And the reason for that, I just hit my head, is that I have this skylight right here. So very, very roomy if my head's right in the skylight, which it is. Boom, boom, boom. Lot of room, lot of room. Another inconvenience is power. I never realized how important electricity is until I moved into an RV. Now, I've talked about power in other videos. I'll link the power video in the description below, but power is definitely a constant issue. Now, in the summertime, it's not that big of an issue because I do have a solar panel up top. So the solar panel slowly charges my batteries throughout the day, and in the summer, I don't use much electricity. One thing that uses a lot of electricity is your furnace. So I don't use that in the summer because it's hot enough. In the winter time, however, I use my furnace a ton and I use a lot of electricity. And so to charge my batteries, I actually have to run my generator for about 3 hours a day throughout the winter time. Now, while I'm running my batteries, I do hook up my dehumidifier so I can get moisture buildup out of my RV, but it can be inconvenient to find a spot to run your generator without waking the neighbors up because my generator is extremely loud. Something that I've never talked about before is dating. Dating in an RV. So it's a little bit different than having a house because it's not like, hey, come over and let's watch a movie. Number one, I don't have Wi-Fi, which I'll talk about later in the video, but it's more, I think there's 2 ways to look at it. So when you're camping, that's one way because that's exciting. You know, do you want to come over? You want to have a fire? We can camp, you know, have some wine. That's definitely one thing. But that doesn't happen all the time. That's the glamorous side of the RV lifestyle. A lot of the time, I am in a parking lot or on a residential street. Right? So it's like, hey, come over and I'm right behind Walmart. Do you want to come over and watch a DVD that I bought at Walmart? So dating can be an issue living in an RV. So let's now talk about boondocking or dry camping or stealth camping. So in the wintertime, I travel because I'm not working. By the way, if you're new to the channel, I'm a tour bus driver. So in the wintertime, I'm traveling and boondocking, which is fine because there's lots of places to boondock when I'm traveling, and I'm usually only in an area for a couple of nights. But when I'm working in the summertime, I do a lot of dry camping / stealth camping. Now, I don't know if you can call this truck camp or stealth camping because people know that I'm in here. People know that I'm noticeable. But one thing with dry camping is that you constantly feel like you're doing something wrong. And I've never really talked about this, but every place that you go, everywhere that you pull up, and I jump in my camper because I'm actually not hooked up to my truck. So I can't jump in the front seat of my truck from inside. So I have to get out of my truck, walk around my truck camper, and get up through the back door. And you get noticed and people kind of know what you're doing. And so it's awkward sometimes to go to areas and simply I just feel like I'm kind of not allowed to be in certain areas. I'm not allowed to be anywhere. you don't really have a home. Like at the end of the day, it's not like, oh, how long until I get home to kick my feet up and relax? The question turns into like, how long to get home to where am I going? And it's a weird feeling. I don't really know how to explain it, but sometimes you just kind of feel like a little bit lost. Like, where do I go? Now, traveling's one thing. Traveling, it's like the next location, you're in all these different places, but I'm just working here. So I just have to find a different spot every single night, and I like it. But sometimes it's a very interesting feeling of just not having a home base, not having a place to go. I just don't have a place to go. Does that make any sense? All right. It takes time to become comfortable with it. I was just with my friend who was spending the first night dry camping on the side of the street, and she said that she got no sleep at all that night. And the first night that I did it, I got no sleep at all because there's so many different sounds that you have to deal with. There's people walking by, you can hear chatter, you can hear vehicles going past all night long. The rain, when the rain is really heavy, it's hard to sleep when it's coming out different patterns. Like if it's a soft rain, it's really nice, but when it's a hard rain, you can really hear it because the roof is right here. And when I'm in bed, it's like a foot from my ear. Also with wind, if you're in a windy area, the wind will rock your camper back and forth and it's hard to sleep. Also, when cars are passing, if you're on a side of a road where cars are passing all night long, you'll get the wind, like a little bit of a wind bubble, which will shake your RV. And that all takes time getting used to. You'd be surprised when you get into this RV lifestyle, how easily you can adjust to things. You know, spend that first week not getting much sleep, and then you'll just get used to it. Now, I can sleep pretty much through anything. Security was a big issue for me when I first started out. I felt like I felt unsafe, actually. I felt unsafe. I felt like being on the street, someone was going to try to open my door, climb up on my RV and steal my solar panel. And yes, that stuff can happen, but my door has a lock just like every other door. So maybe I'm a little bit more susceptible to people coming and trying to break into my RV, but it would be just as easy to go up to a house and try to break into a house. The nice thing about my RV is if anybody steps on my step, to get up to my door, it'll shake the RV and I will wake up. And for those worried about safety, I have found, I bought pepper spray, and I have found that pepper spray, especially when you're traveling and you're in areas you don't know, I just feel more comfortable that I do have pepper spray. I lock my door, I have pepper spray, and I can feel if anyone jumps on my RV or tries to kind of open my door, which is one thing that you don't have with a house. You know, you don't know if somebody's in your backyard with a house. Here, I know as soon as someone touches the RV, I'll wake up. I hope I wake up because I am a deep sleeper, but I think that I would wake up. And the last thing about boondocking / dry camping that I want to talk about is the amount of times I have found the best spot to sleep. It's uphill, downhill, and side to side. Here in Victoria, we have a lot of older streets. I'm in Victoria, British Columbia. We have a lot of older streets. So a lot of the side streets that are perfect to sleep on dip towards the gutter. And I'm not gonna go out and put blocks up to block my RV up because then you're very noticeable. So I have to find a spot that's somewhat level. Now I can be on a bit of an incline. Depending on that incline, I'll adjust the sleeping position, whether my head's this way or that way. But when it's this way, it's a little bit tough. So that's definitely an inconvenience. Another one is garbage. Garbage is a thing that I thought about when I first moved in. I said, where am I gonna put my garbage and where do I put recycle? It's actually very simple. That's my garbage right there. I screwed this garbage can into the side here, so it's not going anywhere, it's stable, it's out of my way. And it's just a smaller garbage can, small bags. And small bags are kind of the trick because if you get big bags, then it's hard to throw them in the garbage just anywhere. But with these smaller bags, I can go to gas stations, I can go to any public garbage or recycle place or recycle bin, or you know those big bins you see behind buildings. You're not really supposed to use them, but I'll chuck a garbage bag in there once in a while. And so that is what I do for my garbage and recycle. I'll take it out of here and I'll put a new bag in, and then I'll put this in the passenger seat of my truck so that I remember whenever I'm driving past somewhere that does have a garbage can, that's where I can put my garbage or recycle. The last thing that I want to talk about is actually an inconvenience, but that's because of what I'm doing. So yes, I make YouTube videos and I rely on Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is my biggest inconvenience. I spend a lot of hours in Starbucks, a lot of hours. And when you don't feel like being around people and you just want to hang out and maybe edit a video or upload a video in the comfort of your home, for me, it doesn't really work like that. I have to go into a Starbucks, I have to be around a bunch of people in my pajamas, right? And I have to upload that video. With that being said, I am now looking into a Wi-Fi booster so that when I park in the parking lot close to a Starbucks or close to a McDonald's or close to a Tim Hortons or wherever has Wi-Fi, I can pick up their Wi-Fi from across the parking lot. So I can actually park in their parking lot and pick up that Wi-Fi, which will be amazing. I'm excited for that. So I'm just looking into Wi-Fi boosters right now. There's certain areas that I know of where I can pull up pretty close to the Starbucks and get their Wi-Fi. But with that Wi-Fi booster, it'll make it much easier, especially when I'm traveling and I don't know all the hot spots in town. That's when that Wi-Fi booster will come in handy. So guys, these are the issues and the hassles that I deal with living in an RV. Now, everybody's gonna be different. I'm a young guy, I'm a single guy, and this is all I own. And so my issues will be a little bit different than somebody else's issues, but I wanted to make this video and show you that, you know, there are inconveniences to the RV lifestyle. It's not all glamorous. But with that being said, all of the things that I mentioned, to me, aren't that big of a deal. Yes, there's some inconveniences, but the payoff to live in an RV and be mobile and have this simplicity and be able to travel and be able to, I mean, this makes me so happy. That is the biggest payoff. And so I'll take, it's almost like me winning the lottery and then complaining about certain things. There's really nothing to complain about. And so if you're thinking about doing this lifestyle, what's the worst that's gonna happen? Try it out. Either rent an RV, try it out for, you know, a week or so, or jump 2 feet in. That's what I did. I thought that I would like the RV style, and so I just went full in. And it paid off. I really enjoyed it, but it is what you make it. And perception is reality. So however you perceive things is going to be how it's going to be. You know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying? I wanna give a big shout out to my Patreon members, because actually a Patreon member recommended that I do this video. He said, you know, I've seen the glamorous side of your videos. Talk about, you know, the non-glamorous side or the inconveniences. And so I tried to think about as many inconveniences as I possibly could. And so I hope that you guys enjoyed that. I probably didn't cover them all. There's probably still questions that you have. So in the comment section, leave your questions below and I promise that I will answer. It seems like every video I do, I'm always missing something, right? It's like, oh, I should have talked about that, but it is what it is, guys. So big shout out to my Patreon members. If you guys want to check out Patreon, it's in the link in the description below. You can watch the intro video. And other than that, guys, keep living that dream. Do what you want to do with your life, whether it's RV lifestyle that makes you happy, whether it's living in a home that makes you happy, whatever it is that makes you happy. Once you're happy, you win. That's the point of being on this earth, is to be happy. So take care, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Many more videos on the way. Till next time, bye-bye. And I'd recommend getting baskets for your RV that have little command strips at the bottom, kind of like these. It's like super Velcro, and it sticks on, and it's amazing. So I just put them on the bottom of these little baskets. Then for all the smaller items, I can just leave them in the baskets, and I don't have to worry about putting them in cupboards. Saves a lot of time.